Welcome to the Lesbian Romantic podcast. This is Waking Up is Easy, Part 2. The day after returning to work, I woke up feeling slightly disoriented. It was a Saturday, and it was weird to start the weekend after just one day at the center. I know I considered staying in bed, maybe trying to read a book, but I could hear Audrey moving around our old house, and I suddenly missed being around her. Even then, I knew I shouldn't give in to that kind of sentiment, but I couldn't help it. I quickly grabbed a shirt and some shorts and left my room, pulling my hair back in a quick ponytail. "Hey, stranger," Audrey said, a little annoyed when I walked into our kitchen. "You were gone by the time I came home." I shrugged apologetically. I was pleased to see Audrey had already made coffee. Of course she had. She always did. "I came back from my run and you weren't home yet," Audrey replied, leaning against the wooden counter. She looked sad, but not as sad as she used to look. "I figured you weren't home anyway, so I stayed a bit longer," I admitted, "but I must have stayed too long." "Yeah," Audrey nodded. "You stayed with her again?" Pouring a cup of coffee for myself, I ignored the question and blurted out, "Do you want to go to the movies today? We can still grab the lunch deal." Audrey's eyebrows shot up then. I used to love it when she did that. It made me grin. But a few years later, the raised eyebrows usually announced disappointment in me. "Sure," Audrey said, much to my surprise. "Why not?" I grinned, relieved. When I couldn't go to work, I liked to distract myself. A movie was one of the easiest ways to do that. Plus, I loved treating myself to some popcorn. "But no popcorn," Audrey said, pushing off of the counter. "Oh, come on," I said, taking my seat on one of our creaky chairs. "That's half of the fun." Audrey sighed. "Okay, but I want my own." I sipped my coffee. "Why?" The eyebrows again. "Seriously?" I asked. You can't keep pretending," Audrey said with a heavy sigh. "It's just popcorn," I replied. "We both know it's not just popcorn, Catherine," Audrey sighed again. "Stop sighing," I said, and felt like a whiny teenager for saying it. I course-corrected and leaned back in my chair. "You don't have to be that annoyed with me." "I'm not annoyed," Audrey replied, even though I knew she was. I always knew. I thought we agreed this was for the better. I remember nodding reluctantly. "Sure, yeah," I said, and I really meant it. We just had a difference of opinion on how to implement our decision. "We broke up 4 months ago," Audrey continued, "and almost nothing between us has changed. You can see that, right? We sleep in different rooms," I pointed out. "That's a big change." "Really?" Audrey asked tiredly. "We said we still wanted to be friends," I replied. "And we are. What's wrong with being best friends?" Audrey crossed her arms. "Tell me one other thing that has changed." "What?" I chuckled uncomfortably. "Plenty of things changed. We do our own thing all the time. I just go run more often, and you're at work even more," Audrey stated. "You went out last night," I protested. "That was with friends, right?" "Stop trying to be right," Audrey said a little louder. I winced. I hate it when anyone, raises their voice. I also know how hard it must have been for Audrey. I know that now. "Look," Audrey added, sitting down at the table across from me, "you know we can't keep going like this, right?" I frowned. "Why not? Why do things have to change?" "Because we're no longer a couple," Audrey said, reaching for my hand. "And you're pretending that we are." "I'm not," I said defensively, pulling my hand back. "I'm fine with our breakup if that's what you're thinking." "Are you?" "Yes, I really am," I said, now raising my voice too. I quickly covered my mouth. I'm sorry. It's fine, Audrey smiled. But Kate, everything changed. We changed. And we're going to change even more. What if one of us meets someone new? I didn't want to respond. I didn't even want to think about this. I didn't want to talk about it. I just wanted things to be exactly how they were. I knew we had been friends rather than lovers for years now, but I still loved our life together. I thought we were good for each other as friends too. We didn't need the romance part. My trip is in a few weeks, Audrey said softly. Maybe after that, we should talk about one of us moving out. Just for a while, and then we can see what we do next. I'm not proud of what I did next. I can admit that now. I covered my ears, got up, and walked out of the room. As a therapist, I'd have a few things to say to a client who did that, but it was the only thing I could think of in that moment. I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for the change that life wanted from me, and I was extremely unprepared for what was about to happen. Freedom Crusaders! I'm late uploading this video, but I have good reason to be late. See this awesome outfit here? White without a back is the new black and all that. They won't let me wear anything else here. Don't worry, I'll be fine and we'll be back home soon enough. Turns out I just need to flush some stuff out of my system after I took an extra dose of something I believe is actually helping me grow strong. The doctors disagree because I collapsed at work. I'm not sure if I got the dose wrong or if I combined it with the wrong food and had some sort of cross-reaction, but I'm sure I'll figure it all out once I'm back at my place. The docs also say I should never take this supplement again, but I don't trust them. Plus, the company assured me the dosages are fine and that this was a one-time reaction. Anyway, I asked my roommate to drop off some extra cables and lights so I can continue to post videos from here, but she has classes and refuses to skip one to help me out. I guess I'll just have to make sure I can get out of here ASAP. Luckily, someone down the hall has a phone charger and I can post with my phone and keep you guys informed. My boss is probably going to fire me over this. A few of you became a member after my last video, so I'm not panicking yet. Even though I will lose my insurance if I get fired. But I know you guys will have my back, right? I got lots and lots of messages over my reporting on the so-called coma center in Windfall. One of you sent me some new information that I really want to investigate as soon as I get out of here. That means now is the time to become a member of my channel, Freedom Crusaders. With your help, I can investigate what is going on with these experiments on human beings in Windfall. You know what to do to help me get out of here so I can go to Windfall and find out the truth. Click the link below. Audrey has always been a very forgiving person. She knew I was struggling, and she wasn't upset that I walked out on her. Maybe she should have been. A few hours later, we went to the movies like nothing happened, and I was happy to get out of the house together. Sometimes you only start appreciating someone when you can no longer take them for granted. I got popcorn, of course. Audrey didn't get her own popcorn, but still had a bit of mine. That was good enough for me. I don't even remember what the movie was about, to be honest. I think it happened just as the movie ended. Yeah, I think the text arrived after the movie. I got up and brushed some popcorn off of my sweater and, mostly out of habit, checked my phone. My coworkers know I'll come into work whenever I can, and they actually try to keep me away because they know I go a little overboard. They're sweet and protective like that. So I was surprised to see a text from Sonia, our physical therapist. She's as committed to her job as I am, but she had never texted me on the weekend before. "What's wrong?" Audrey asked. "Nothing," I said, quickly putting my phone away after reading the message. I knew my voice gave me away, so I asked, "You want to grab a light lunch at Winds of Change?" Audrey tilted her head, clearly debating how to respond. "Come on," I insisted. "We gotta eat something. My treat." Oh, Audrey asked, surprised. "How does that work?" "We ran out of money on the joint account," I shrugged. "I finally asked Brittany to change the account for my paycheck." "Really?" Audrey said in surprise again, hands resting on her hips. "Yes," I said, but didn't tell her that I lied about the reason when I asked Brittany to change the account. I couldn't bring myself to share the news about my separation from Audrey. "Yes, we are officially broke," I continued, putting the "we" in air quotes. "But I can buy you lunch from my paycheck." Chuckling, Audrey nodded. "Okay, I guess we do need to celebrate that step. Maybe things are changing after all." I chuckled uncomfortably. I had been eager not to talk or think about the text from Sonia, but had somehow gotten myself into an even more undesirable situation because of it. So I did what I sometimes do. I blurted out what I had been trying to hide in the first place. "Sonia sent me a text about Usha." Audrey's face immediately hardened. "Come on," I said with a bit of despair. "I don't want to bring my work with me here. I just got a strange text and I want to tell you about it." Slowly, Audrey shrugged. "Why do you always get like this whenever we talk about Usha?" I asked. "Always get like what?" Audrey asked, but I knew she knew exactly what I meant. "Ever since Usha got admitted at our center, we've been fighting about her," I said, shaking my head. "I mean, we broke up even before she arrived." A man cleared his throat behind us. We were still standing in the middle of the theater and were blocking his way. I remember this because he smelled of strawberry candy for some reason. Sorry, Audrey and I said to him in unison and quickly turned toward the exit. As we stepped outside, Audrey sighed and grabbed my arm. "I don't know. I know it's silly and still I keep doing it." "Doing what?" Ever since Usha arrived, you seem so focused on her," Audrey said. "And it annoys me, but it shouldn't. I guess she just symbolizes what troubled me for years." I knew that Audrey felt like I never cared as much about her as I did about the families and patients at my job. This was never true. But I guess my actions throughout the years told her differently. "What did the text say?" she asked, putting on a brave face. I smiled sadly and said, "Doesn't matter. Come on, let's go have that drink and lunch. You can tell me about your next marathon." This cheered Audrey up straight away. "Are you sure?" 1,000%, I nodded. Audrey chuckled. Now she wants to listen to me about running. I stuck out my tongue. "Not fair." We both laughed as we crossed the street because we both knew it was fair to an extent. It's not that I was a workaholic. It's just that I really liked being at work. But I did think about the text during lunch at our small town bar, no matter how hard I tried not to. This was part 2 of Waking Up is Easy. Thanks to all the supporters of this podcast. Your help made this episode on the free feed possible, so thank you from the bottom of my heart. The next part 3 of Waking Up is Easy, will be available on this public free feed on December 10th. If you can't wait to keep listening to the story, go to patreon.com/lesbianromantic. You can sign up for free there. I do drop an episode a little bit early now and then for free members on there. patreon.com/lesbianromantic. All right, that is it for this episode. I will see you in 2 weeks on this public free feed, December 10th.